All right, Coy, let's get into it.
Do it,
I was talking with Coy beforehand because I saw this was like booming in the news. Let's just type in an article here and see what we can find, okay?
All right.
So apparently, I think this is starting from our buddy from Boston, Jeff Snyder.
Oh, boy.
That he's the T'Challa recasting is apparently a thing. Like, look at this. Over the last couple of days, it's been taking off that this is going to be a thing that is supposedly going to actually be happening in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
But is it recasting T'Challa as we know him? Is it recasting a T'Challa that is from another universe? Or is it the young T'Challa we met in Wakanda Forever and they're just having him be older as part of Young Avengers?
That's a great questions all around, Coy. Here's what the article said. I am editing in real time.
Look at him go. Look at these skills.
There's some cropping stuff that I did not get down. So Jeff Snyder, he said, with Marvel reshuffling the deck in advance of Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, I'm told that the door is firmly open for T'Challa to be recast via the magic of the multiverse. I heard that an actor was actually offered the role this past fall, a couple of months after Downey's big reveal at Comic-Con, but they turned it down. Snyder believes that the newly cast T'Challa will lead Black Panther 3. Coy, first off, what do you think about this pause? What do you think about just what's your reaction to that?
My immediate reaction is I do feel like Black Panther 3 could have very well been Shuri after the end of Wakanda Forever and had assumed it was. But now that this is being posited and the Denzel Washington accidental confirmation of Black Panther 3, I'm wondering how far along the script is, right? Because I hadn't heard anything until Denzel said, like, he's excited to work with Ryan Coogler. And what a funny thing, right? Like, Denzel Washington being a guy that's like, I'm really excited to work with this guy, Ryan Coogler, turned into, like, accidental confirmation because he doesn't do these big blockbusters. He doesn't realize what that sentence was, and then having to be like, I'm sorry, Ryan, I told the world. But I didn't realize the script was far enough along to even be, you know, in having these conversations. Now it's interesting to see that will this be a continuation of Wakanda Forever where it is young T'Challa, who was, you know, named after his father? Will this be something multiversally following the events of Secret Wars? Because we don't know when Black Panther 3 is going to come out. We could have a different universe's T'Challa. Or is this the recast T'Challa movement where this is the one I hope isn't the case, because it's very tricky after you have an entire movie mourning someone. Yeah. I don't know how you then have that person back, and that kind of eliminating a lot of emotional connection to the real person that we tied the emotional connection to the role through.
That is the part of this that I think is the most interesting.
Yeah.
Because I was on the train. I really love Black Panther Wakanda Forever. If you guys saw a review for that, I was a huge fan of that movie. And I was very much moved by that experience. I know that it's become kind of a divisive film over time. And it seems like in the beginning, the recast T'Challa thing was a big no-no for the majority. It seems like over time it has become kind of swung over to that way.
Yeah.
Doesn't at least paying attention to the online zeitgeist of what's going on. Curious to know what you guys in the chat have to think. What do you guys think about that? Sorry, I just got back from New York a couple days ago, and then it was like a bunch of fires. So I'm still getting used to talking on camera. It's really weird when you take 2 weeks off and you're like, I'm still adjusting to this. But anyway,
and we're like moving shit. Like so my brain keeps being like, that's not there.
Yeah,
like things are just different enough. Like this is all different.
I'm like, yeah, today's the time I'm going to experiment with like having to edit myself here in real time.
We've got like natural light.
But yeah, that is the aspect of it that I am a little bit worried about, because everything about what Marvel is doing currently just seems they're like so terrified of going bankrupt or something. You know, they're bringing back Robert Downey Jr. They're bringing back Chris Evans, apparently. And they brought back the Russo brothers.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, what else were people upset about? You know what? Let's recast T'Challa. Let's find a way to
check all the boxes of the things.
And that's a part of it that is seeming like a I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I feel like they set up something to do. I think they can do something where you can have a dual thing of Shuri and the son, but the son is like, he's like 2 years old in that movie.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I'm like, wow,
yeah, that's like a big time jump.
But multiversal T'Challa would work. I don't think.
But do we want that? Do we want like a multiversal one to step in? I feel like most
I want that more than I want the T'Challa of our universe to somehow be back.
I don't think they would do that. Would you prefer a multiversal
to the son?
To the son. Yeah.
Unless it's Aldous Hodge, no.
Well, that's why Aldous Hodge.
I saw that. And I didn't know if that's a conversation you and I had, because he's definitely
No,
like.
I just stole that from Cosmic
Oh
Wonders.
yeah, I mean, Aldous Hodge should
my
be a
buddy,
household
so
name.
I'm just taking the
Yeah,
thumbnail.
seems good. That'll do.
I'm rushing this thumbnail.
We're gonna put it live
here.
together.
What's online? I'm just gonna grab
Thanks,
this.
Cosmic Wonder.
Yeah.
I think Aldous Hodge is fantastic, but I don't know that'd be a multiversal one I would be okay with, because I don't know if you want to age up that kid. Like the timeline's also an issue. Like aging up the kid that's in the universe with Shuri makes it so if you age him up, Shuri needs to be 12 years old.
Then you got to age up the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I think it's a lot.
Everyone's got to age then at that point.
So I don't know how they do that. That's the mess.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Doomsday and Secret Wars. If this is the way they're going to recast and bring back, it seems like they are in. I've heard it brought up in the chat quite a few times that it might be. This seems like it's going into some type of soft reboot for the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, that could be a new T'Challa altogether. But then would you call it Black Panther 3?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a new T'Challa, like with a and their multiverse rules are so weird, right?
Flippant.
Sometimes they all look like Jonathan Majors, and then other times they look like John Krasinski and Pedro Pascal.
And sometimes all Doctor Strangers are Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Sometimes all Hugh Jackmans but one Henry Cavill.
Very, very weird. Yeah.
And they should have some sort of show Bible. Like it is very messy. So I think eventually after Secret Wars restarting is a good thing. But do you do that with a movie called Black Panther 3? Like, do you make that connotation part of the new universe?
Yeah, that's a very weird prospect. What do you guys in the chat want from this? Do you believe this, first of all? I don't know what to believe, but then it seems like everything that is a hype train from Marvel's, it kind of seems like it's coming true now. So
It does feel
maybe
reactionary.
Everything about what the
That's what I'm
MCU
saying.
is
It all
doing
feels very reactionary. And that's not to say I'm not excited for some of this, but it does feel like there's an exhausting thing on online discourse of the casting of some of the DCU where everybody's like, oh, they're just reading fan casts. I feel like the current state of rumors is Marvel reading every rumor and going like, if this is true, it feels like it was written by a message board.
Yeah.
And that worries me.
Yeah. Well, no one's really talking. The chat seems a little bit divisive on it. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. We're going to get through all of them. I promise. It's all going to be going to the. Why can't I just commit this to memory? The California. It's to help save people. California Community Foundation's Wildlife Recovery Fund. All going to be going towards that. Wildfire recovery.
Greg loves
fund.
Animals, and he keeps saying wildlife.
Yeah, I do. No, I mean, oh god, the video. The first video I saw was of the guy who was in. I think it was in the Palisades or no Tarzana, and he got out of his home and it was like his cat was suffocating and he was like bawling. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry right now,
dude.
It was like bawling just because him and his cat almost died, and he was just so focused. And that would be my wife and I. It was just like, we got to get our cats to safety right.
I loaded most of my stuff with Spidey in a backpack on my chest so I could look down and make sure he was okay.
Yeah,
I was looking at Spidey loading things.
Didn't even ask about Coy's fiance at first.
Spidey cat.
It's like, is Spidey okay?
He's got such little lungs. I was so worried, dude.
Yeah. I mean, to say you don't try. I mean, people in the chat are saying, Jeff Snyder just creates clickbait and stuff. I'm like, that's the scooper world, right? Is like sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. It's just the way it goes. Also, yes, we do have Streamlabs. That takes less of a percentage, all going towards the California Community Foundation's Wildfire Recovery Fund. I'm hoping,
there it is.
Hoping with enough repetition, I just am able to commit that to memory. Okay, let's move on here. We're just
seems like the consensus is people want T'Challa in some way, and that's kind of and I don't disagree. I think T'Challa is one of the most important characters in what the MCU has built, and therefore that honorary title is important, but it's tricky because of the nature of Black Panther being an ancestral title and because of the nature of the son introduced and the multiversal nature of things, how you navigate all of those variables to not have to do stuff that changes everything.